Bibliophiles of the internet, my name's Adriana, and today I'm here to bring you my second quarter book haul here in the year of our Lord 2018. For those of you who are bad at math or who just don't understand the concept of quarters, this book haul covers all the books I bought from April to June, and it's not too much. I follow that up with the fact that I got not one, but two physical copies of Cersei by Madeline Miller, which I actually listened to as an audiobook because I'm contradictory in that way. This is a mythological retelling about Cersei, daughter of Helios, who was exiled from the realm of gods when she was discovered to be a witch. I made an entire 5 reasons to read video for this one, which I will link down below, but spoiler alert, I loved it. Then I have Boku no Hero Academia Volume 12 by Horikoshi Kohei. I actually read this a couple of weeks ago, so now I'm on to Volume 13, and I am just so pleased with life. For the small percentage of you who don't know, this is a shonen series about Midoriya who lives in a world where almost everyone displays superpowers known as quirks, and he is actually quirkless. One day his idol, All Might, runs into him and passes on to him an incredible power which allows Midoriya to apply to his dream school, UA, which trains the next generation of heroes. Then I have my advanced copy of Drumroll Please by Lisa Jen Bigelow, which was kindly sent to me by the author herself. This is an amazing queer middle grade story about Melissa, or Melly, who's going off to this rock star summer camp for young musicians, but the day before she leaves, her parents tell her they're getting a divorce. So Melly's left struggling to figure out what this means for her family, and at the same time she finds herself gravitating towards a fellow camper named Adeline, who might just be her summer crush. It's just a really wonderful, fun summer adventure with all the camp shenanigans and music puns you could ever want, but it's also an extremely thoughtful exploration about finding yourself. This book is now available and I highly recommend it. Then I pre-ordered The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu. Maureen Gu, of course, wrote one of my favorite 2017 releases, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, so I was more than happy to pre-order this one, and it also came with some really amazing pre-order swag, so that's always a plus. This is an Own Voices contemporary story about a biracial girl named Clara whose father combines their Korean-Brazilian backgrounds into a brand known as Cobra, which is what he calls his food truck. Clara is somewhat of a troublemaker, and after one of her pranks goes too far, her father decides that she's going to spend her summer working on the food truck with an uptight classmate and a cute potential crush. Though I'm sure he didn't plan for that last part. I really wanted to read this one in May for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, but I just couldn't make that happen, so I'm actually planning on getting to this one in the coming weeks. Then, if you saw my awesome wedding vlog, you know I found this incredible new edition of Full Metal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa, which is one of my all-time favorite series. They're actually re-releasing the entire series in this format with these designs, so I definitely plan on buying a few more with my favorite characters because I'm trash. Then I also pre-ordered Furyborn by Claire Legrand. Even though I've been carefully tracking the progress of this release for years, I still don't know too much about it. I know there are 2 main characters who are centuries apart and who have the power to either save their world or destroy it. I think there's also something about these characters mastering all 7 kinds of elemental magic, which is unheard of except for the 2 prophesized queens, the Queen of Light and the Queen of Destruction, and I'm guessing you don't know which is which. That's my guess. I'm an intellect. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Then my book of the month pick for June was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This is an Own Voices romance story about Stella, who was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, previously referred to as Asperger's. The only thing she really loves and trusts is math, and she actually works producing algorithms to predict customer purchases. She really has no dating experience, so she decides that she needs practice and that the only logical thing to do would be to hire a male escort to teach her the finer nuances of romance and sex. And of course, this no-nonsense partnership slowly snowballs into something else, and I just can't wait to read all about it. Then I have Running with Lions by Julian Winters, which I first had as an ebook, but then I loved it so much that I also had to buy the physical book itself. This is a queer sports narrative about high school soccer player Sebastian, who is thrown for a loop at summer training camp when his ex-best friend and current rival Amir shows up. Amir's not very good at soccer, and he also has a really terrible attitude, which is throwing the entire team off. Sebastian decides to try and train Amir one-on-one, but what starts off as a diplomatic move might just end up in romance. As I was reading this, I came up with my own tagline: second chance at friendship, first chance at love. I'll see myself out, but I just really need everyone to read this book. Thanks. Then I pre-ordered Revenant Gun by Yoon-Ha Lee. This is the final book in the sci-fi trilogy that begins with Nine Fox Gambit. The trilogy is about a disgraced soldier, Kelchetis, who is punished for using unconventional methods and algorithms in battle, so she is sentenced to share her body with the preserved conscience of an undead master tactician named Shuos Judeo. The trade-off is that while Judeo has never lost a battle, he could also potentially be a madman, as in the past he massacred not just one, but 2 armies. Also, it's blurbed by not just Ann Leckie, but also N.K. Jemisin, which says everything you need to know. Then I bought Peter Darling by Austin Chant. This is an Own Voices retelling of Peter Pan, where Peter is queer and trans. This version explores his return to Neverland after he tries to go back home and live as Wendy, only to realize that he's very much not safe there and not living as his true self. When he does return, everything has changed, and he reignites an old, bloody war between the pirates and the Lost Boys in which lives are very much at stake. Peter is also having to confront his unexpected attraction to his lifelong rival, Captain James Hook. I just gushed about this one in my June wrap-up, and I am strongly considering making a 5 reasons to read video for this one because I have so many thoughts. I also pre-ordered Mirror Magic by Claire Fayers. This is a middle-grade fantasy-type story about the town of Wise, which is the only remaining human town where magic exists. That is, until it becomes controlled by Lord Skinner, who seems to be systematically undoing magic. The main character, Ava, and her brother discover a magic mirror that transports them to the parallel twin town of Unwise, where they run into a fairy named Howl who is being pursued by the terrifying Mr. Bones. Together, they're all trying to figure out the mysterious link between Lord Skinner and Mr. Bones in order to save their towns and restore magic. Then when I went to Maine, I bought 2 books. Hello, yes, hi, I was in Maine for 2 weeks, and I made an entire vlog about it, which is pretty rad, and you should definitely check that out. The first bookstore you saw in that vlog was Books A Million, which we actually don't have here in California, fun fact. The book I bought there was Front Desk by Kelly Yang, which I'm currently buddy reading with Melissa from Melissa Geekery. More fun facts. This is an Own Voices middle grade story about first-generation Chinese immigrant Mia, who helps her parents run their motel by cleaning rooms and managing the front desk. One of the guests gets into some trouble with the police, which is making everyone feel tense since Mia's parents hide immigrants in the empty rooms at night. I have been anticipating this book for so long, and I can't wait to share my thoughts. The second bookstore I featured was Bull Moose, and there I bought the first volume of the Ruby manga series based off the Rooster Teeth show created by Monty Ohm, and the manga is written by Shiro Miwa. As I said in my Get Graphic TBR, Ruby is a fantasy series set in a world overrun by creatures known as Grimm, and the main characters, Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, are attending Beacon Academy to be trained as hunters. It is great, it is fantastic, it is the best, and I will gain 10 years of life when I start this manga this weekend for Get Graphic. And the last thing I just got in the mail last week was Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. This is a fantastical Rumpelstiltskin retelling about Miriam, daughter of a moneylender who isn't the best at what he does. He tends to lend out more money than he can afford while also being reluctant to collect, forcing their family to take on huge amounts of debt. Eventually, Miriam decides to go out and collect the money herself, and she is so good at this task that she can leave with a pouch of silver and return with gold. But word quickly spreads about her talent, and suddenly the king also wants to exploit her skills. I am determined to read this one either this month or next because it is essential to my existence. So those are all the books I acquired in the months of April, May, and June. If you've read any of them yourself or if you would like to read them in the future, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But that's everything I had for this book haul today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the flip side of the page. Bye!